Hi guys, a little bit of an update. I'm out in the middle of nowhere at the minute, as you probably can see. Just picking Oob up. You can see all the way over there. I mean, the views are quite good here. This is out the back of, I think, Halles. Just waiting for Oob to text me the address because the street signs are a bit light here. And when you try to find it, I've been there before, but the problem is the streets here sort of weave in and out. All the houses are white and, very similar. Very hard to, very hard to find his mate's address. So I'm just waiting to text me, because I thought it was up at this end, because I'm now not far, because these new builds aren't far from the house, but good luck trying to find it. So what I've been up to this week, done a health and safety course, pretty much finished that. Just got one assignment left. I'm glad I'm getting rid of that, because I don't have to do it once, and I find it a bit tedious, boring, and stating the obvious. But it says 22 hours to do the course. I think I've done it in about 4, but never mind. I thought that was rain clouds over there. Been a couple of things that's been interesting in the politics side here in Spain. I was watching the Argentinian Prime Minister, I think it is. Is he a Prime Minister or is he a President? I'm not sure. He gave the Spanish Prime Minister's wife some stick about corruption, which has caused a bit of a fiasco. Worth having a read up on that. But then I was sat listening to the Spanish Parliament, where Sanchez was getting a bit of abuse from an opposition leader about the relationships on Palestine, and someone in Sanchez's party talking about the river to the sea. Is it from the river to the sea? Yeah, I think it is. So that hostility that's all over the place at the moment is going on in Spain as well. But I'm just sidestepping those. It's just the fact that it's in the politics here as well, as much as everybody else. Because obviously the UK seems to have protests every week at the minute. I've got to admit, I don't see the value in protesting these days, because they just don't bother covering it in the media anymore. But what else have we been up to? We've been looking at a conservatory as well for the downstairs where we put the hot tub. We're thinking of putting a conservatory to the side so we can sort of extend the dining room. So we're looking at that. Going to get some assessments on the cost, because we've also started looking at, should we buy a farm? I've got to admit, I want one. Let's just justify the cost on it. Because one of the problems I have here is a lot of the land in this area is like that. It's very dry. There's a nice place up near the back of Alicante. I say up near it, probably 20 kilometers away, which has got a very large farm area. It's, well, not massive. It's, I think, 7,000 square meters, and a building where there's no roof on the building. I don't mind doing all the building work, you see. I enjoy that, because when I go to work's crap. I hate my job. I like working on tools. I did it for a long time. I was a carpenter for a long time. I did a lot of electrical work. I've done a lot of exhibition work. I've done a lot of stuff you can step back and say that does not look nice. Stuff to be proud of. These days it's very hard to be proud of the stuff I get involved in. It gives me a headache sometimes. Not the work itself, because if people actually followed what they were given, their life would be so much easier. But there's a lot of negative blame culture in there, where it doesn't matter what you did, they'll just talk about things outside the room. Well, how do you know that? It's because when I'm in the room, I hear what they talk about with everybody else. It's like a revolving door of slating each other. I mean, that's just not me. But I've got to admit, being back in Spain's been really good. I'm actually feeling better, you know, in the sense of personally, I feel like healthier because the weather's better, feeling a much more positive mode. Been doing my treadmill every day, doing my weights every day. Try to do the boxing every day, but I'll be honest with you, we're doing work as well. I'm doing what 2 hours of fitness a day on top of everything else with the school, not school runs, but like, well, yeah, taking April to Spanish lessons because she's just finishing her exam. I think she's passed that. And then obviously got hobbies karate, and there's all the stuff going on. Next weekend we're off to see Green Day up in Madrid, so there'll be some nice video footage from there. Hopefully we don't get pickpocketed. But it's just good to be back. I've got to admit, if you haven't been out here, you won't know it until you've done it. And I used to get the same when I went to the Philippines, because I'd work hard for like 3 or 4 months, then head to the Philippines for a while, and then go back and work again. As soon as you got that sense of the landing the plane, everything just chills out. You know, Alicante, as soon as I see the, you know, now I can see the weather's improved, but the temperatures rises as you sort of just get out the plane, and then you're down on the tarmac and it's chilled out. It's just home. And I think that's the key to it. It's home. It's stable. I keep, you know, here I don't see as much moaning as goes on in the UK. I'm trying to keep things positive these days, and it's really hard work because everyone's like, it's not just the complaining about everything's gone up in price. It's all the false justifications and stuff that makes it very hard for you to stay away from it. You know, when people are trying to justify things and you go, that's just rubbish, and you're like, stop it, don't get involved, stay away from it. That's why on my other channel it's a bit more political lately, but I'm trying to keep it positive. But I've got to admit, being home in Spain, it's getting harder to leave, but I am starting to think we need a farm. Got some expensive choices coming up. Also sorting out my A2, which is for my Spanish driving license, because I've got Spanish one, I ain't got a British driving license anymore. A2 will allow me to get my motorcycle license for I think it's up to 35 kilowatts, which I can just about get a small Harley Davidson with. I'm thinking of getting like a Sportster or something like a low rider or something, just to enjoy where we live. You know, I love motorbikes. In the Philippines I was always on my motorbike, and I miss it. I miss having a motorbike. So that's now on the cards. This looks like it's going to cost me about, I think it's a few €100, but I'm not seeing it being too difficult. And if you have been looking at it previously, just be aware they've started doing the test in English now. Previously I believe they were always in Spanish, but I was speaking to the driving school on Friday because I want to do it, because I don't really want to change my driving license back to British, so I can do it in the UK because it's in English, to transfer it back to Spanish again. I just want to be able to ride a motorbike again. I do miss it. But beyond that, all's chilled, all's good. Kids are happy. Work's work. I mean, I'm looking at options at work at the minute, but my laptop's just failed today, so it's just said it's doing a repair, I'll see you in 4.5 hours. So I'm like, okay. Before I'd get annoyed with it, now it's just like, oh, whatever. I've got other computers in the house, I'm not really bothered. Once it's fixed, it's fixed. I'm not too fussed. Start getting the drones back out as well. Even work are asking if I can do some drone footage, so I'm gonna have to start looking at the drones as well. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. I also noticed the community is getting quite busy with in the area, which is good. I mean, I talk from my perspective, and that's the thing. Sometimes when people will say, "Oh, where you live's a concrete jungle," da, da, And you're like, but it's not. There's a strip of land where the houses are. Then we've got sand dunes, we've got parks, we've got the Molino Park, the water park, we've got the big nature park, which is 30, I think it's 34 kilometers when I cycled right the way around the lake. Then you've got the Pink Lake, and then you've got the flamingos, and then there's the salt lakes out near Santa Polo. There's a lot of bird life. There's a lot out here. I mean, if you stay just where you are, I will say you're missing things that aren't that far away. Because on the coast, it is predominantly like this. You know, this is house upon house upon house upon house with low development. You know, it is like that, yeah. But like when I was in the Philippines, where our house is our base. It doesn't mean we stay there. We go around, we try to be in different islands. Here we started branching out and trying to visit places on the weekends. All these maths lessons disrupted on the Saturday at the minute because he's got tuition, but he's got good grades and he's done his last exam. So we're going to start traveling out a bit more again. But to be perfectly blunt, I want to encourage people to live here. The whole Brexit thing has made life a bit more difficult, but not impossible. And I'll be honest with you, if that's what's put you off living here, I don't think you've done yourself any favours, in my opinion. When I lived down in the Philippines, we had to go to the immigration office about every 6 weeks. We had to pay money every 6 weeks. And I was out that way for about 8 years. He didn't put me off. There was no Brexit there. It's very difficult to work in the Philippines, hence I travelled backwards and forwards. I built a call centre business up there. The whole point is, if you want to make it happen, you can make it happen. The other thing you got to look at is the shrinkage. You know, with Brexit, a lot of people did head back to the UK, but I would say there's probably a high risk of change where there's a lot more people coming in from Northern Europe. So it hasn't sort of dropped the same as there's a lot of Ukrainians now. I find the Ukrainians are pretty cool. The reason being is there's a lot of anti-immigration stuff, whether it's UK or wherever. Ukrainians, all the ones we know, they all work. The majority of them have a partner that's in shipping. So their wives are here, their husbands go back on the ships, so they're actually bringing money to Spain. But on top of that, a lot of them do actually want to go home. They do have problems with the government there relating to trying to grab their houses because they're here. There's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't get reported in the media. But I find the Ukrainians that I know very educated, polite, pay their own way. And there was an article, funny enough, I'm going to switch to the UK for 2 minutes, on about the British dentists, because of a shortage in dentists, and the NHS is and the government trying to force them back to giving people dentistry in the UK. Ukrainians are often going back to Ukraine for dentistry. It's the same as me. I don't use the UK. I'm private in Spain, but if I've got major work, I'll probably fly back to the Philippines, to be honest. And you can see why people go to Turkey for their hair and their teeth. But the reason I bring it up is the Ukraine. They were saying, well, there's loads of dentists. I don't understand. You know, this is Ukrainians in the UK. I don't understand. Like, if you want to go to a dentist, it's like £10 in Ukraine. Why is it so expensive in the UK? Why is it? And this is the thing. A lot of the stuff we have in the UK is overpriced. And I think a lot of it's tied into property values and high rents and other things that affect the economy in a negative way. I do find some of the rents here in Spain are ridiculous when you get into the commercial bits. But at the same time, from a house point of view and living here, if you've got a reasonable income, you can do okay here. I don't find it ridiculously expensive. I do find eating out has gone up, but I do find if you just want to cook your food, you can, You can get proper meat here that's not been messed around with. A lot of the food is fresh and not processed. It's just a healthier way of living. The hard bit is just getting their monthly money in. If you can cover that, the rest of it will just flow. So if you have to deal with immigration, deal with it. Make the changes. I love it here, and I'm not even sweating. And what's the temperature? It's got to be at least 24, 26 degrees. But I better go and pick my son up. He's messes with an address, so I can go there. But I just wanted to say, guys, don't let anything knock you back. Always look forward, and always remember, other people always give you advice. Other people always give you options, always give you opinions. But the most important persons is yourselves. You make your own decisions, your own choices, and don't let things knock you back to the point that you give up. Just reset and push forward, reevaluate, work it out. Do it day by day. If you look at Stoic philosophy, I've sort of reinforced a lot of stuff I do on the basis of the way the Stoics think about things, because it makes life so much easier. I deal with narcissistic people. I deal with people that go out of the way to be difficult or try and force you out your job and all this sort of stuff. It's if you let people affect you, it'll affect you. Simple as that. If you can deal with them, you can prevent it. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it at that. Take care.